It is the dead of night, October 23rd, 1641. Desperate men slip through the streets, aiming to execute a bloodless coup. Their target is Dublin Castle, the seat of English power in Ireland, and their goal is to seize the government armory before dawn. But the plot leaks. Owen O'Connolly alerts the authorities. The element of surprise evaporates, and the ringleaders are arrested. The Dublin heist is dead. But the signal to rise had already traveled north to Ulster. There, rebel leader Phelim O'Neill ignores the failure in the capital and successfully captures a network of strategic military forts across the region. Because the central command structure was captured in Dublin, O'Neill is left fighting an isolated, improvisational war. The quiet political maneuver is over. In its place is an open, decentralized armed revolt. To understand this, look at this 17th century map of Ulster. By 1641, native elites lost 80% of their ancestral lands to Protestant settlers. Furthermore, a brutal recession hit. Harvests failed, and creditors charged 30% interest rates. Compounding this economic collapse was religious persecution. Dublin restricted Catholic worship and planned further land confiscations. The Dublin Castle plotters were cornered aristocrats, executing a financial and political gamble to erase their debts and secure their remaining power. Back in Ulster, Phelim O'Neill has a massive problem. The English have locked down Dublin, the rebellion is already starting to fracture, and he needs a massive influx of support to maintain his momentum. So O'Neill lies. He issues the Proclamation of Dungannon, a piece of propaganda asserting that King Charles actually authorized the rebellion. He forges a document claiming the king needed the Irish to protect his royal authority against his political enemies in England. This political cover works. Wealthy Anglo-Irish Catholics, known as the Lords of the Pale, are dismayed by the harsh anti-Catholic crackdowns coming from Dublin. Believing they are acting on royal orders, or at least taking advantage of the excuse, they join forces with the northern underdogs. By wrapping his local uprising in the king's colors, O'Neill accidentally legitimizes the use of extreme violence. Thousands of people who had no part in the original plot now take up arms in the name of the crown, pushing the conflict far beyond O'Neill's ability to control it. With the breakdown of state authority, the poorest class of displaced Irish peasants, contemporaries called them the rascal multitude, seize the opportunity. Driven by deep economic resentment, they begin attacking the settlers who occupy their former lands. We can see how this localized anger devolved into sectarian slaughter if we look at this top woodcut panel from the era. It depicts the Portadown Massacre, where roughly 100 Protestant settlers were forced off a bridge into the River Bann. In response, arriving Scottish and English military forces execute indiscriminate, brutal massacres against the Catholic population. Reports of these killings are immediately weaponized. Pamphlets printed in London inflate the death tolls to hundreds of thousands, deliberately framing the chaotic violence as a highly coordinated Catholic conspiracy to wipe out every Protestant in Ireland. The localized political plot is now a neighbor-on-neighbor sectarian war. In 1662, the Irish Parliament will legally mandate October 23rd as an annual day of thanksgiving for surviving the rebellion, a tradition that hardens into 200 years of communal vigilance. By May 1642, the original plan for a quick, bloodless coup is long dead. Yet the chaotic rebel forces manage to occupy approximately 2/3 of the entire island. The bishops and nobility perform a radical pivot. They convene in Kilkenny to officially declare the rebellion a just war and establish an entirely new alternative government. This new state becomes known as Confederate Ireland. They build a fully functioning administration from scratch. They mint their own coins, print their own laws, and organize the disparate rebel factions into professional, standing armies. A desperate, botched attempt to erase personal debt inadvertently dismantles English rule across most of the territory, creating an independent, self-governing Irish nation. But this new state is born into a massive geopolitical storm. Just as the Irish Confederates establish their government, the First English Civil War breaks out across the Irish Sea. The newly empowered English parliamentarians view this independent Catholic confederacy not as a legitimate government, but as an existential threat to their very survival. It must be violently subdued. The rebels have their nation, but they have also ignited the Irish Confederate Wars. In doing so, they draw the attention of the English Parliament and the impending, merciless arrival of Oliver Cromwell.